upcoming stakeholders which can collaborate with 4 P's of marketing. And these practices can go from one hand to hand and deals with the COVID-19 crisis. So in order to move with this topic, we have an invited speaker, Dr. Shitish Kumar Sarangi, Assistant Professor from Department of Agriculture Economics, Odisha University and Technology, Bhubaneswar. He has 11 years of teaching, research, and extensive experience. He has guided near about 3 PhD students in various fields of agriculture marketing, marketing linkages. He has worked with international organizations dealing with World Bank, USAID, Asian Development Banks. He is a principal investigator in one of the imminent projects dealing with biofuel projects. He has compiled various technical reports dealing with state agriculture plans as well as central district agriculture plan dealing with Odisha state. Along with that, he has written near about 13 research publications in all international and various journals. So with this brief introduction, on behalf of all, I request Dr. Sarangi to go for the upcoming this talk dealing with good practices in agriculture marketing. Yes, sir. Dr. Sarangi?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, you can start your.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Yes.
I welcome one and all present joined in this webinar. So, my topic, I'll start with the topics I'll discuss. What are the different good practices, and specifically the good practices in agriculture marketing? And I would like to highlight on what is the present market infrastructure and some new market the reforms and the new market architecture suggested. And with this pandemic the COVID-19 period, what are the best practices that is followed? I would like to highlight on those points. So the So, as you know, in any kind of pandemic situation, the poor sections of the society are always hardest hit. And to mitigate the current COVID-19 pandemic impact on food and agriculture, countries are to meet immediate food needs of their vulnerable population, boost their social protection programs, and keep the global food trade going, and keep domestic supply chain gears moving, and so also support the smallholder farmers' ability to increase production. Uh, with around 85% of the Indian farmers are small and marginal farmers, and also the significant part of population being landless farm laborers. So efforts need to be taken to support these producer farmers, and at the same time we need to safeguard the interest of the consumer. So the policies and institutions of agricultural marketing play an important role to safeguard the interest of all the stakeholders by adopting good practices. Now, now I'll highlight what is a good practice. So, good practice is not only a practice that is good, but also one that has proven to work well and produce good results in different settings or contexts, and is therefore recommended as a model. So it is a successful experience that has been tested and validated in the broad sense, and has been repeated and deserves to be shared so that a greater number of people can adopt it. This is the concept given by FAO, but a promising practice. At the same time, it has demonstrated a high degree of success in its single setting. The possibility of replication the same setting is guaranteed. So it has generated some quantitative data showing positive outcomes over a period of time. So a promising practice has the potential to become a good practice, but it has not been thoroughly analyzed, nor has it been replicated sufficiently to support wider adoption or for upscaling. So a promising practice incorporates a process of continuous improvement. So the objectives and approaches of good practices in agricultural marketing. So there are different good agricultural practices, but I'll focus on the good practices in agricultural marketing. So the objective of good agriculture marketing practices is how to improve the farm income. And the second is how to reduce the prices for the consumers, vis-a-vis to increase the producer's share in the consumer's rupee also. So for to achieve these objectives, we can suggest there are four approaches. The first one being market integration through e-platforms at local, national, or even global level. Then second, creating an organized market structure at local level through various institutional mechanisms, especially direct marketing initiatives, contract farming, and the farmer producer organizations to solve the issue of skills and grassroots customization. And the third approach would be emphasis on investment in infrastructure such as warehousing, grading, testing, and quality certification, and also market information services. And the fourth approach would be focusing on value addition through primary processing and branding activities to ensure maximum farmer participation in the value chain. So, as you discuss, we'll highlight on these approaches how good practices in agriculture marketing can be adopted. We'll go by the different successful examples where at the global level where different models have been adopted. So it is linked with any model is linked with the a particular problem or context. So we'll discuss the different problems and the solutions and where it has been adopted or taken up. The first problem, as everybody will appreciate, there are different problems in agriculture marketing. And the first one are the small and fragmented land holding. So small and fragmented land holding is very every day or every year there is a fragmentation of land holding and it decreases over the years. So the solution would be the collectivization of farmers for different marketing processes, particularly pre and post harvesting activity to increase farmer surplus and helping in strengthening the backward and forward linkage and enhancing their bargaining power. So that means when this very small size of holding, we need to address how there can be collectivization of the farmers through different maybe cooperatives or maybe farmer producer organizations. So the example, the successful cases where the one is a cocoa development center in Indonesia, then cooperatives in public-private partnership mode in African countries, and FPOs in India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and also the vegetable box scheme in Cape Town, South Africa. These are where it has been adopted successfully. The second problem is too many intermediaries or middlemen. So, as you know, when there are large number of intermediary in the marketing channel, the marketing cost is very high, and the producer's share in the consumer's rupee also decreases. So, and the price grade is also very high. So, the solutions suggested is the direct linkage of producer with consumer through different models. So for this, there are different models, good practices. One is in e-commerce model in China, then online trading, family farming approach, community supported agriculture model in developed countries, and pick up your own model in USA, farmer producer organization models. Then the third problem is the lack of financial resources. So financial resources, it affects the farmer, mostly the small and marginal farmers, because the farmers, they cannot adopt good agriculture practices and cannot produce high quality and quantity of the product, and that leads to distress selling because due to less price realization owing to poor quality of the product. As we know, the most of the farmers, they take money from non-institutional sources, particularly money lenders and arhatyas. This problem arises. So for this, solutions would be public-private partnership model or contract farming model can be proposed. So the examples are Cocoa Development Center again in the Indonesia, Vegetable Works Scheme in Cape Town, community supported agriculture model, also farmer producer companies model. Then fourth problem is lack of organized marketing system. This is obvious problem in Indian context. So organized marketing solution, the organized marketing system for enhancing producer share in consumer rupee and regulating several malpractices. And second will be digitalization of agricultural markets. So many successful cases are there. The ENAM here to bring transparency in wholesale marketing system, e-commerce model, then Internet of Things concept in China, and the formal farmers market. So these are the examples. Then the fifth problem is lack of transportation facilities. So due to this poor connectivity and in the rural areas and from the farm to the market, there is poor connectivity, so also the distance. So transportation cost is very high, and the farmers are unable to receive a fairer remunerative price. So the solutions would be the collective action approach, where small farmers having less quantity can drop their product at a common collection center nearer to them. Various successful models in Bangladesh, the Farmer Hub Center, successful model, Cocoa Development Center in Indonesia, PP model in Africa, and Sri Lanka Vegetable Box Scheme also. And the next one is your lack of storage facilities. So for that, the solutions would be the proper storage facilities are nominal charges, which facilitates to get loan on receipt of storage. Particularly, we get receipts from warehouses where the different products are stored. So in ENAM in India is also a brighter example. Farmer producer companies, farmer organization in Africa, then farmer market in USA, and also there are different PPP models in other countries. Then the lack of standardization and grading. So the farmers are unable to export their the farmers are unable to export to being the largest producer in the world in many commodities in fruits and vegetables. So as we know, in India is producing many products. We achieved success in producing different commodities. We are the leading producer, the first milk and cereals and pulses. We are producing much, but we are unable to export those commodities, and our share in the export market is very minimum. And so for that, we can suggest contract farming business models who develop their own standard, maybe with or without any agreement, providing services to the farmer. Farmers sell their product without any agreement. So, but they need to produce according to their standard which they have fixed. So then second, we can provide some incentive to for the farmer to participate, or even provide premium price to the farmer for producing those commodities. So PPP model in tea producer in Sri Lanka, that is a successful example. Community supported center in USA and cocoa production in Malawi. Then the next one is your lack of information and price risk. So there is inadequate price information in big organized markets, lack of communication facilities, and unaware of the real price prevailing in the market. So for that, the solution should be web application-based market information system. That means to disseminate the real-time price information to farmers through farmer databases using various communication methods like SMSs and other web-based applications. So in the successful models, examples cases eNAM in India, Market Information System in USA, CDP model in Africa and Sri Lanka, and also e-commerce and Internet of Things model in China. Then next one is multiplicity of charges and illegitimate charges on the seller. So as you know, there are different types of charges. So solutions should be regulated market practices and developing a nationwide unique market system with fixed and transparent rules and regulations. And the second would be direct linkage of farmers to e-commerce, grocery store, family farmer approach, on-farm and community-supported agriculture with consumer. The successful models, of course, eNAM, Farmers Market, e-commerce model in China, Model Contract Farming Act of India, particularly it provides, facilitates contract farming. Then last one is your debt obligation and distress sales. So, so for that, we can suggest provision of cheap credit to farmers, particularly from institutional sources, and credit facilities to collective action approach like farmer producer companies. And the examples would be Kisan credit card schemes, which provides short-term and medium-term loans, contract farming models, and community-supported agriculture models. So these are the different problems and where it has been adopted successfully at the global level. Now, let us discuss what are the different existing market infrastructure in India, because to adopt good practices, we need to understand the markets and the various marketing functions at different levels. So the existing market, we have an existing market structure consisting of wholesale markets, that is agriculture produce marketing committee, and that is regulated markets with their principal market yards and sub market yards. And we have got rural periodic markets, which operates in unorganized retail, and the farmers and other agents and intermediaries involved in the process. So now the bulk of the different markets, the rural periodic markets, as you know, these are the small huts, or it is called sandys, mostly located in the village level, and that operates in the interval of a week or two, and attract both sellers and consumers from the hinterland. So these RPMs, rural periodic markets, it is a sizable number, more than 43,000, mostly owned by different agencies, maybe individuals, panchayat, municipalities, or even state agriculture marketing boards and APMCs. So we have also, in many states, have adopted farmer consumer market, the farmer consumer markets with varied success. Like we have Raitu Bazars in AP and Telangana, then Writers and in Karnataka, Apni Mandi, Punjab and Haryana, Shetkari Bazars, Pujawar Sandys in Tamil Nadu, and of course Krisak Bazars in Odisha. These are also the farmer markets. So now we'll talk about the new market architecture, which is suggested here. It is the primary rural agriculture markets, which is operating at the grassroots level. then the primary wholesale market, secondary wholesale market, terminal markets, and so the export market. So the different models which are suggested, these some innovative models which are suggested, like and in each markets, how the different marketing functions and they are dealing with the primary rural agriculture market center, this is PRAM. So basically, these are retail markets, and the major functions they carry out, that is aggregation and transport, aggregation, assaying, weighment, post-harvest handling, transportation, and also the payment. And at the particularly for assembling and collection centers. The PRAMs for retail markets, they perform different functions like buying and selling in small lots, multi-commodity in nature, dealing with different types of commodities. They also perform transportation functions. So these ownership and the management, that is the Gram Panchayat, the committee, municipal committee, entrepreneur, FPOs, then and the BPOs and cooperatives, also the APMCs. Then the next level is your wholesale markets. And that means there are primary, secondary, and terminal markets, and particularly they perform auction, different types of auction, the auction of the produce, payment, and also the storage. So these are owned and managed by APMCs or some societies and also the private markets. And the next one is the warehouses, also designated as markets, because I'll talk about the different the suggestions. So warehouses are now being designated as markets. They also perform assaying, inventory management, lease loans, and transportation. And these are owned and operated and managed by private companies, even state government, procurement agencies, commodity exchanges, FPOs, cooperatives, and entrepreneurs. So the PRAM, if you look at the structure of the primary rural agriculture marketing center, uh, the the PRAMs, the structure is the flow of produce, the farm to consumer, to provide all types of logistics support. But they perform different functions like primary local sales to function as aggregation hubs for particularly small and marginal farmers, and they'll send it to the wholesale markets. And the wholesale market, at the level of wholesale markets, there will be bulk transactions at different layers of marketing channel. And the third one is your value realization, that is consumer and the processor, value realization from agriculture produce. So these are the driving forces of the entire commodity value chain system. So here the role of government support, there will be reforms to facilitate the free flow of produce in the unified market. Then there will be effective market connectivity to minimize the need for interventions external to the market. And of course, the market intelligence to plan, execute, and efficient linkage with the markets, so that the farmers can get optimal value for their product, not merely only the cost support. Then we have FPO model of market connectivity suggested, and FPO model, as we know, it operates at the village level. There will be assembling, pooling, or aggregation center at the village level. Then and it will be transported to wholesale market designated as the distribution hub at city level. Then the various functions the FPOs perform at the village level. That means the traceability, records cleaning, sorting, grading, then pallet handling, packaging, pre-cooling, staging and dispatch, and also the SME processing. So the main objective of performing these functions is to supply at the local level, particularly the wholesale mandi or direct or large processors. But the farmers associate with an aggregation center for harvest to sell cycle. Produce is dispatched to various market channels. The capacity to store long holding produce like cereals will also allow the farmer groups to hold inventory to avail different place loans. There are also city proximate farms and marketing operation model. We have the farmer collect group collection center, which operates at the village level. It performs weighment, traceability, aggregation, staging, etc. for local supply to the mandi, and the last mile, that is retail outlets. It will be distribution center at the district level, performing processing functions like jam, jelly, and other things. And also it performs various functions at the district or city level, the handling, weighment, and records, washing, sorting, grading, and also composting. But they deal with lot-based supply, particularly that is last mile distribution to retail outlets and also the hotels, restaurants, and cafeterias. So we have also the other platforms like e-trading platforms. We have a unified market platform. This unified market platform, it is an initiative of Rashtriya E-Market Services Limited, which is a joint venture between NCDX and Karnataka government. So REMS provides online access to all participants in the APMC markets in the state holding the unified market license from the state government. So currently 157 mandis in Karnataka use e-trading facilities, e-permits and e-payments, scientific grading, assessing services through this initiative. So basically this is a web enabled platform and is accessible from web enabled devices like desktop, mobiles, and tablets. And UMP, this Unified Market Platform, was recognized by Indian government, and it was a precursor for building of the ENAM, that is National Agricultural Market. So ENAM, the National Agriculture Market, it's a pan-India electronic trading portal that networks the existing APMC mandis across the country to create a unified national market for agricultural commodities. So it's a virtual market, but it has a physical market that is mandi at the back end. So physical infrastructure of mandi will be leveraged through an online trading portal. This NAM portal provides a single window services for all APMC related information and services. This commodity arrival, prices, buying and selling, trade offers, and provision to respond to trade offers, etc. So, though the movement of agriculture produce continues to happen through mandis, an online market reduces the transaction cost and information estimate. So now, with this background, I would like to highlight what are the different practices and the policies followed or suggested in India. So we have got an ambitious scheme launched in the last uh, uh, budget, the One District, One Product scheme to boost farm exports from the clusters. So UP, Uttar Pradesh is the leading state which has um, identified various products under the ODOP scheme. To name a few, we have got Ayodhya, Muzaffarnagar. They will focus on jaggery. Then Aurea, that is desi ghee processed, Gonda for pulse, Hatras for hing, Kosambi for banana food processing, Kushinagar for banana fiber products, Pratapgarh for amla products, Siddharthnagar district for Kala Namak rice. So the idea is to one district will focus on only one product so that we can increase our export and earn foreign exchange. So another your Kisan Dwell scheme that was also proposed to build a national cold supply chain for perishable products, particularly milk, fish, and meat. It will be set up by Indian Railways through PPP arrangement. We have also Krishi Udan scheme as proposed by Ministry of Civil Aviation for international national routes. So to improve value realization, especially the remote areas, particularly northeastern and tribal districts, and of course it will help in doubling the farmers' income. So, the another effort is your All India Agri Transport Call Center. So, to facilitate hassle-free transport of agricultural commodities, particularly in this difficult period, in this lockdown period. So the agriculture minister has launched All India Agri Transport Call Center. Names the numbers are 1800 1804 44200 So to facilitate interstate movement of perishable commodities during this lockdown period, these numbers can be called from any mobile or landline phones any time of the day and night. It operates 24/7 service, and the government of India for coordination between states for interstate movement of perishable and also agricultural inputs, critical agricultural inputs like seeds, pesticides, and fertilizer. Here, the truck drivers, helpers, dealers, transporters, farmers, manufacturers, or any other stakeholder who is facing problem in interstate movement of agricultural, horticultural, and other perishable commodities may seek help by calling at the call center. So, call center it is operated by IFFCO Kisan Sanchar Limited from Faridabad, and the call center lines with initially manned by 10 customer executives around the clock in 8 hours each. Call center services may be escalated to full capacity of 20 seats based on requirement. So the call center executives will also maintain records and verify the disposal of problems whenever there is any problem that may come up. So another the effort is for revamping of ENAM. So the Ministry of Agriculture has initiated several steps to decongest wholesale markets and to boost the supply chains during the prevailing lockdown situation due to COVID-19 pandemic. So the two modules under ENAM have been introduced. One is your FPO module, and the second one warehouse-based trading model. The FPOs can directly trade with the ENAM portal. They can upload produce details from the collection centers with pictures or quality parameters and avail the bidding facility without physically reaching to the mandis. And the second module is by warehouse-based trading module. Here the farmers can sell their produce from Warehousing Development Regulatory Authority WDRA registered warehouses which are notified as deemed market and do not physically bring the produce to the nearest mandi. So this is an important effort made by the government during this COVID pandemic. So far, FPOs from 12 states have participated in this trade, particularly Punjab, Odisha, Gujarat, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Maharashtra, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and Jharkhand. Then the advisories has been issued by the ministry to all state government and union territories to facilitate direct marketing from the farmers or FPOs or cooperative societies by limiting regulations under the state APMC Act. FPOs are also supplying vegetables in the nearby cities and towns. All problems arising out of movement of goods and its tradings are resolved on real-time basis. States and states have already taken decision to issue passes, e-passes to FPOs. So ENAM has become a tool for social distancing during this lockdown period. Steps are promoting virtual trading platforms like ENAM, thereby reducing human intervention in handling of the produce, and trading ensured through online mode from places from where they are stored. And states like Jharkhand have initiated farm gate trading through ENAM platform, where farmers are uploading the details of their produce along with the pictures for online bidding without physically reaching to the APMC. APMCs, FPOs are also uploading their produce from their collection centers for trading under ENAM. And one important function, that is transportation. Transportation, which is very critical component of the supply chain. For that, the ministry has launched Kisan Rath app. It's a farmer-friendly mobile application to facilitate farmers and traders in searching vehicles for primary and secondary transportation of agriculture and horticulture produce. This is developed by NIC and to facilitate farmers and traders in searching for transport of vehicles. So primary transportation, particularly movement of farm to mandis, FPO collection center and warehouses. The secondary transportation, that is movement of from mandis to interstate and interstate mandis or processing units or to railway stations, warehouses and wholesalers, etc. So thereby it helps in reduction of food wastage by providing timely services. So till date, around 80,000 farmers and 70,000 traders have registered on this app. So Kisan Rath application is designed for the users of both ENAM and also the ENAM mandis. And another, that is your module of Uberization of logistics aggregators has been recently launched on ENAM platform. This will help the traders to find out transporters available their vicinity. The the next one is your ministry is in touch with Maharashtra Mandi Board for supply of onions from production areas of Maharashtra to other states. Currently, APMC under Nasik districts are sending on an average 300 trucks Delhi to various parts of the country, like Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Punjab, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh on regular basis. For that, a separate cell has been constituted for monitoring the supply and prices of essential goods, particularly fruits and vegetables, along with the interstate movement for the far northeast region. Then recently the a very good initiative taken by Punjab government, uh, the the harvesting and procurement of wheat, Punjab state. There is a good coordination between the state government and the central government agencies, particularly FCI and Indian Railways, which actually facilitated record harvesting and procurement of wheat in Punjab. So this was possible by mobilizing the additional fleets of combined harvesters from other neighboring states, and people under MG Narega were also mobilized by center to harvest each grain of wheat in a very short span of time of less than 15 days, and they're working 24/7. And even the lights are also provided that harvesting can be done in the night also. And keeping in mind the current pandemic situation, 2000 odd additional mandis were also created to reduce crowding and improve social distancing norms. So there was a record harvesting and procurement of wheat in Punjab. Then other steps which were taken during the COVID-19 pandemic, that is awareness and advisories on preventive measures uh, and sensitization by various agencies. For that, ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, has issued statewide guidelines for farmers to follow during lockdown period, and advisories, particularly harvest and tracing of current Rabi crop, as well as post-harvest and storage marketing of farm produce. Even other agencies, IVRI, they have also issued advisory for livestock farmers during this COVID-19 period, how to prevent the preventive measures, particularly for milk vendors, and how to maintain hygienic practices in different processing plants, particularly dairy, meat, egg, other. Uh, Particularly, also they have also issued guidelines to the consumers of different animal products. So also ICR also proactively work for prevention of stress to the farmers due to COVID-19. Advisory to farmers in 15 regional languages were communicated to over 5.48 crore farmers, and also um, the farmers were sensitized for use of mobile application, that is Arogya Setu, to fight COVID-19 pandemic, and around 4.3 lakh farmers have downloaded and used the application. Then I would love, lastly, I'll highlight the immediate challenges of this COVID-19 pandemic. So in view of continuing restriction on movement of people, vehicular traffic, concerns have been raised regarding the negative implication of COVID pandemic on farm economy. So this is also peak of Rabi season, and various crops, particularly wheat, gram, um, are they harvestable or almost reaching maturity, and in some states it has been harvested. And this is a time when the farm harvest has to reach the mandis, market yard, for assured procurement operation by the government agencies. So any severe disruptions to the supply of perishable products, particularly fruits, vegetables, and dairy, fish, having mobilized to meet the increasing demand from middle class as well as urban and rural consumer, may create irreparable damage to all actors in the supply chain. And the migration of workers from few parts to their native places has also triggered panic buttons, as they are crucial for both harvesting operations and post-harvesting post-harvest handling of the produce in storage and marketing centers. The government in the state center in the state has notified to exclude movement of farmers, farm laborers, and harvesting and sowing related machines from the purview of lockdown, making the food, grains, fruits, vegetables, and other essential items available to the consumer, both in the rural and urban areas. Uh, in the most critical is the most critical challenge for the government machinery during this lockdown period. So smooth functioning of the supply chain with adequate safety measures for the people involved are most important. And transportation of PDS items and to the last mile delivery agents by both railway and road has to be ensured by respective government agencies. Distribution of commodities to the vulnerable population while maintaining the prescribed rules, guidelines, and protocol, particularly social distancing, must be effectively monitored. So these are the immediate challenges of COVID-19. And coming to the conclusions and suggestions, the
ये
poor
webinar
sections,
देखो
the
ना
poor sections of
तो
society
लीड
are
पे जाना
always hardest hit in any disaster. So with 85% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers, welfare measures to contain any damage from the pandemic are definitely going to help them with sincere implementation. Then collective action is also needed to ensure that markets are functioning well, and timely and reliable information on market fundamentals is also available to all. This will reduce uncertainty and allow producers, consumers, traders, processors to make informed production and trade decisions, and to contain the panic behavior in national and global markets. Relaxation of norms by APMC, allowing farmers to sell their produce beyond the designated mandis will certainly ease the burdens of the farmers. State governments must gear up their machineries for smooth procurement operations of the farmers' marketable surplus at minimum support price or through other price support schemes. To sustain the demand for agricultural products, investment in key logistics must be enhanced. Moreover, e-commerce and delivery companies startups need to be encouraged with suitable policies and incentives. Structural reforms such as land leasing, contract farming, private agriculture markets have long been advocated to bring enhanced investment into agriculture sector, and to push its growth needs uniform implementation of this legislation by state government to realize the full potential of the sector. Increased efforts are needed to ensure that food value chains function well and promote the production and availability of diversified, safe, and nutritious food for all. Uh, there have been global concerns on the restriction of exports of agricultural commodity by a few global players. India being the trade surplus on commodities like rice, milk, meat products, tea, honey, and horticultural products may seize the opportunities by exporting such products with a stable agri-exports policy. A development of export supportive infrastructure and logistics would need investments, and support of the private sector will be in the long-term interest of the farmers in boosting their income. And finally, it is necessary to give precedence to the health of consumers, workers, adhering to safety measures such as testing, physical distancing, and other hygienic practices. Thank you. So now I
Thank you.
invite the
Thank you.
participants to have any queries we can discuss.
Sure, sure, sir. Yeah, participants, anybody, you can raise your questions. Yeah, yeah, Dr.
Yeah,
Gajan.
yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I think
Yeah,
good
good
morning.
afternoon.
Yeah, sorry. So, congratulations, Speaker Mr. Sarangi. This is a good exposure of this global good practices and other thing. But coming to India, I have my own reservations about this ENAM implementation in India, especially during this COVID situation. So, did the speaker come across any ENAM catering to the needs of these farmers during this COVID situation? This is my question.
Sir, could you please repeat the last line?
Yeah, did the speaker come across any ENAM or a number of ENAMs catering to the needs of farmers during this COVID situation? Because definitely that is a virtual market. It is well suited
Sure,
for
sure.
this social distancing and other thing. So, but regarding the performance of ENAM, I just want to know from the speaker whether any particular ENAM is catering to the needs of this, farmers during this particular situation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gajanan, for raising these questions. So right now, I don't have any information on the number of the ENAM where the particularly in this COVID-19 situation, uh, the the number of markets who have actually operating, and the bulk of transaction in the different markets, I don't have that figure right now.
Yeah, participant. Any other question, please?
Yeah, I'm Professor A.K. Gehlot. I'm former Vice Chancellor of Rajwas, Bikaner. First of all, I would like to give my personal compliments to CCS NIAM for informing me about the series of all these webinars. And Dr. Sarangi, you have presented very nicely good practices in agriculture marketing. Two, three things I will like to add or point out. One thing is that, in the COVID-19 situation, few specific agricultural sectors, they have been very badly affected. One is all animal husbandry produces, including meat, milk, eggs, everything, even fish also. Uh, then there was a lot of problem in procurement of feed and fodder for all these animals and poultry also. And only yesterday, I have attended one more webinar in the poultry production effect of COVID-19. And virtually, the speakers they said that it's a virtual perishing of the poultry sector in the country, which is very strong sector, giving jobs to around 22 million uh, workers. Then vegetable, fruit, and green fodder producers, they have also been very badly affected. Uh, some of the important things you have pointed out that regarding the problems, small and fragmented landhold. I happened to visit, Nizamabad district of Telangana, and I found that it's a virtual seed bowl of the country. Sorghum season was there, and almost every 50 feet by 50 feet plot, the farmer was sowing sorghum seed. And very good example. Another thing, lack of financial resources and small producers. Recently, I visited Munnar in Kerala district. I found that every shop is selling tea, coffee, locally made, even the cocoa, spices, and even the chocolates. It was very difficult to find a Cadbury chocolate there in the whole Munnar. All the chocolates which were available, they were homemade. So this is a good thing which I have seen that the agricultural or the farmers, they were selling directly in the market. Then you mentioned about lack of standardization, and therefore we are unable to export. I think you must add some more things, which particularly the livestock produce, including milk, meat, eggs, and poultry, as well as fish also. Uh, Prevalence of some diseases which are there, and then finding of residues. Two types of residues: the drug residues as well as pesticide, insecticide residues. And these are very important factors which are restricting the export of agricultural commodities. So another very important factor to which export of milk products suffered in 1718 as well as 1819 very badly. That was the international fluctuation in international market prices. So that is also one of the very important factor which is affecting the export of sudden drop of international market price will naturally restrict our production cost if it is higher than the cost which we are it's a very big hindrance in the export. So with these observations, once again, thank you, Niam, and thank you, Dr. Sarangi. Compliments to you for a
Thank
good
you, sir.
presentation. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon,
Please go
sir.
ahead.
Sir, this year in the budget, Nirmala Sitharaman discussed about Kisan Rail. Sir, can you please elaborate about that topic? Sir, how much it will be helpful to agriculture?
Okay, thank you for your question. Kisan Rail, it is also an ambitious scheme. So Indian Railways will develop the cold freight carriers so that the farm produce particularly perishable products like milk, meat or any fruits and vegetables can be transported from surplus areas to the deficit areas within a very short period of time. So this and so it has not been started yet. So
Yes,
Indian
sir.
Railways uh, they have constituted a committee to how that scheme would be launched. But it is a very ambitious scheme, and hopefully it will increase the farmers' income.
Is that only for, sir, perishable products or other, I mean, paddy,
Mostly
wheat?
perishable and also the critical inputs. So mostly this is designed for transportation of perishable commodities from surplus areas to the deficit
Okay.
areas, or where there is
Thank you,
consistent
sir.
on increased demand for different products.
Yeah, yeah, participants. Now you can come up with a question directly to Dr. Sarangi. You can contact him or you can mail him the question concern. Now we
Hello.
can come up. Yeah, we can come up with the concluding remarks, sir. Sir, it was a valuable talk regarding the good practices concerned with agriculture marketing. Now, as been seen, it is a good remark dealing with the three major parameters you discuss. That is marketing institutions, which can come up with a proper e-platform level. Then you discuss regarding the organized market structure, which can come up with direct marketing, then contract farming, and now the upcoming burning issue of farmer producer organizations, which can play a very crucial role in this organized market structure. Then you talk regarding the emphasis of investment and trying the level best to disburse the investment in all the ways dealing with market structure as well as market integration level. So as in case you have given good example dealing with Asian and African countries, which can form a benchmark to India as well as marketing structure also. Further, you have given good practices example dealing with primary rural agriculture market centers. Then a good example of FAO model where a village level can move to city level dealing with processing, then market information system, uh, approximate farmers and market organization. Further, e-trading platform, unified market platform, e-NAM, one district, one product. Then Kisan Rail scheme, Kisan Udan scheme, All India Agri Transport call centers. So all these good practices can help us in order to reframe our market structure and overcome the very burning issues in this COVID-19 crisis. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sarangi, all the participants, all the organization, and have a good day.
Thank you.